Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. The way Nigeria is going, we may likely be heading towards anarchy if something is not done very quickly. Hate speech, hate speech, hate speech. But the question is it a selective hate speech we're looking at here? As Amnesty International, a well-known NGO, is now being threatened by some sort of group we don't even know where they're heading from. And to think that one of the women in the video said all this is amazing and no one has even called her to order. But let's find out what it is that's trending that's causing Nigerians to wonder. And they gave them 7 days ultimatum to do what I don't believe they would have even said, even in my wildest dream. But before we go into the news proper for the analysis, I'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you will see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. A group known as the Center for Africa Liberation and Socio-Economic Rights, that's CASLER, has asked Amnesty International to leave Nigeria within 7 days. The human rights group has come under attacks on different occasions while holding government to account. In 2018, the cable actually reported at some point how some protesters who picketed the head office of Amnesty International in Abuja struggled for money after the exercise. However, the human rights watchdog group has remained consistent in spite of threats and attacks. On Wednesday, Princess Ajibode, the convener of CASLER, that's the CSO group, accused Amnesty International of peddling fake news, especially on the shooting incident at Lekki toll gate. She said if the organization refused to leave the country, her group would mobilize people to its offices across the nation. One of our interventions since the start of the #EndSARS protests that have now been hijacked, reproposed and deployed as a destructive force by individuals and organizations that do not mean well for Nigeria, she said in Abuja. But by way of a quick clarification, CASA is not opposed to genuine, legitimate and orderly protests against the incidents of brutality and human rights abuses, irrespective of who or what the offending entity is. Our members have taken part in peaceful protests to demand a cessation to arbitration, profiling and abuse of individuals by the defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad (SARS), whose operative harassed Nigerians without end. We were surprised but gladdened when the federal government accepted the original 5 demands without the expected stonewalling or delay tactics. We had hoped that the 5 for 5 would open the way for the government to implement the first round of reforms, after which Nigerians would have again delivered the demand for more reforms, not just in the Nigerian police force, but in other spheres of the national life, all of which are indeed in need of rejigging. Our shock was consequently profound when infiltrators took over the protest, raised the demand to 7, 12, 20 and eventually to 23 before the drafter talks in to attack those of us that originally began the agitation. We were shocked even further when celebrities and paid activists not only became prominent in the protest but also used their standing as persons with a large following on the social media to incite people to violence. We still feel scammed that protesters unwittingly ended up as human pawns. As part of the protest movement, we have reviewed the video footages shared by colleagues at Lekki toll gate in Lagos State. The incident at that location, Tuesday, October 20th, 2020, opened our eyes to the reality that we were manipulated to join in with the people who would have willingly shot us or any other group that has joined the protest just so they can have corpses to display. Thankfully, things did not get to that stage before we found out that we had been in bed with the enemy. Yes, soldiers shot into the air at Lekki toll gate, but no, we did not witness any massacre, neither did we see not one of the 78 people that the protesters used the social media to mislead the world into believing were killed. The vehemency with which falsehood was peddled about the so-called massacre is what alarmed us that our members or any other Nigerian present at that protest location might have been killed if those behind the fake news of Lekki massacre had the slightest inkling that they would come under scrutiny and their misleading claims subjected to fact-checking. We do not, however, find such logic in why Amnesty International, an international NGO with a serial history of publishing jaundiced reports about Nigeria, would deploy disproportionate resources to undermine the integrity of Nigeria, even at such a trying time. The protesters might have made the misleading claim of a massacre at Lekki toll gate and the lie that 78 people were killed, but it took Amnesty International amplification of that lie for the international community and supranational organizations to wrongly accuse and condemn Nigeria and its government. For Nigeria to rebuild, Amnesty International must be out of the way. CASLER, therefore, gives Amnesty International a 7-day ultimatum to leave Nigeria. The NGO's failure to leave Nigeria will attract civil disobedience at its offices in Abuja and Lagos on a scale that will make the campaign of looting and arson it facilitated appear like child's play. Amnesty International's offices and those of all its affiliated organizations and non-supporters in Nigeria will be set upon the same way that its agent destroyed critical assets in the country. Its staffers will be treated the same way that innocent policemen lynched by mobs were treated. Have you seen what an NGO, God knows where they emanated from, is threatening an international NGO? That what happened, that everybody is shouting, please, oh, it's getting out of hand, oh, the protest ends, hashtag #EndSARS protest is getting out of hand. He says it's going to be like child's play by the time they are done. That they will have what we call civil disobedience, both in their Lagos office and in their Abuja office. They didn't stop there. They even went further to say even their staffers will be leashed upon. And that is terrorism. You say you're an NGO. You are already with boldness. You are saying you are going to attack an international NGO. And the government of the day did not deem it as hate speech. All the one they are shouting, hate speech, fake news, hate speech. This one just slided in. Nobody asked questions. And she said it with all sense of boldness that they are going to leech on staffers and their affiliates. That's any other NGO or humans associated with Amnesty International will be leashed upon. Madam, you no fear God. As some people will say, this, that, you can just imagine how much. Look, there's some things that people will say, begin to wonder, are you out of your senses? You are giving them 7 days ultimatum. Are you a terrorist? What's the difference between this woman and the Boko Haram? Please, guys, let's be factual. You are terrorizing an international. You want to give them ultimatum. This is how you give them. Who are you to give Amnesty International? You give them 7 days, or else you're going to reach upon them. And the government of the day have not called her into order. Don't we have processes in this country? Are we this lawless? Anybody can wake up any morning and wake up and give anybody ultimatum to leave, or else it's going to cause civil unrest. It's going to go and burn their offices. It's going to beat up their staff. Is that what she's saying? That anybody can just wake up as a Nigerian and wake up as, okay, let me go to American embassy and say I want American embassy because they have not said anything concerning this, or Trump have not said anything concerning NSAS. I want an American embassy to leave here in 7 days, or else we'll burn, and you will let it slide, because this is exactly what is happening. If anybody can just wake up one morning and say they will give you 7 days to pack out, or else, or to leave our country, or else we'll burn you up, that's the same thing. Why we are keeping quiet? Because the statement, whatever it is favoring us. When the opposition will do it, shout, hate speech, hate speech. I don't know if she's sponsored, but there's some certain statements that one will make you begin to wonder, are you sure this person is not sponsored? You would have stopped there if you believe that it is fake news or amplified issues that Amnesty made, not to give them 7 days ultimatum. You didn't even stop at 7 days ultimatum. You even promised that on the 7th day you will unleash mayhem on an international organization Who are you? Are you the president of this country that you will give an ultimatum to an international NGO? Who are you? Are you the Senate? Don't you have channels of channel process of channeling our grievances as a democratic government? And up till now, DSS have not even picked that woman up for trying to create anarchy in the country, trying to create hate speech. Now imagine her inciting people, and people now decide to go in and save Amnesty International. As someone is already envisaging that, look, we need to go and start helping these guys. So they don't imagine them. There will now be some sort of anarchy, a fight, another set of protest again. And we're leaving such statement to slide. They should pick up that woman. She's inciting hate speech. That is hate speech. If you're looking for hate speech, she just made one. There are processes to go through things. If you feel Amnesty International was wrong, I'm sure we have channels of ways of channeling our grievances so that we don't cause anarchy in the land. That's what we're going to wrap it up. Let's put in a comment section. What's your take on what this young woman